We welcome you to the Gene Policini Center here on the campus of the Rochester Institute of Technology, where tonight, for the first time this month, the RIT Tigers are back on home ice. Oh, it was a bumpy road, though. A road trip, that is, for Captain Will Calverley and the Tigers the last 2 weeks. RIT will look to get back on track here this weekend after losing 3 of their last 4. While on the other side, Holy Cross enters the night with just 2 wins on this season after not facing off against each other last year. The Tigers and Crusaders renew their conference rivalry here tonight, marking their first meeting in Rochester since 2019. Good evening, I'm Kevin Rocha, and welcome to RIT SportsZone Pregame Live. Well, it's fair to say we've seen the good, the bad, and the ugly from RIT through 12 games so far this season. After splitting their 2-game series with defending conference champion AIC, the Tigers headed to Buffalo last weekend to face off with Canisius. Game 1 last Friday night at the Harbor Center. Tigers were down 1 in the first on the power play. Elijah Gonzalez, off to a quiet start this season, gets his first goal of the season right there, and he ties us at 1. Later in the opening period, another guy that's been slow out of the gate starting to heat up, Jake Hamaker, snapping his goalless streak with his first of the season as well. Also on the power play, RIT led 2-1 after 1 in the second. It took just 19 seconds. The Golden Griffs get it even. Lee Lapide beats Colby Matthews on the power play. It ties us at 2. Still in the second, another Canisius power play. You're seeing a theme here. Another goal. Max Kuznetsov rips one by Matthews. 3-2 Golden Griffs up after 2 periods. In the third, Canisius again a man up, and Jackson Decker gets his second power play goal of the night. Canisius would add a shorthanded as well, and they went on to take game 1 over RIT by a final of 5-2 last Friday night. As we look inside the numbers, penalties, the story here, as the first 6 goals were all scored on the power play, and the 7th was shorthanded. Canisius finished 4 for 6 on the man advantage, while RIT only converted 2 of its 7 attempts. It's the first time RIT has given up 4 power play goals in a game since a 2016 loss to Robert Morris. How about game 2 last Saturday afternoon, also at the Harbor Center? It was a 1-goal game through 40 minutes. Midway through the third, though, Griffs on the power play, and Austin Elger scores to put Canisius in front 2-0. Then just over 2 minutes later, they'd light the lamp again. J.D. Poe getting the goal here. Griffs up 3, under 2 minutes to go in the game. Canisius would tack on another, and it's Lee Lapide scoring his second in as many nights. Oh, the Tigers get swept last weekend at Canisius, losing game 2 by a final of 4-1. Canisius outshot the Tigers 33-29. Elijah Gonzalez scored in the final seconds, his second straight game with a power play goal. The one bright spot for RIT, well, after only scoring 1 power play goal in their first 8 games, Tigers have now scored at least 1 in their last 4. Some good news there. With more on last weekend and a preview of tonight's matchup with Holy Cross, our John DiTullio standing by live now with RIT head coach Wayne Wilson. Johnny.
All right, thank you, Kevin. Wayne, after looking at the tape last weekend, what's your big takeaway against Canisius?
Well, I think we just needed to be more consistent. You know, special teams, just our 5-on-5 play. We have some lines going, some guys not. We got to get everyone going on the same page here, and we're close, and a good test here for us this weekend.
How do you get everyone going? What's the key to get everybody on the same page?
Well, you're talking to different people all the time, just about individual play. We had individual meetings as well as kind of a leadership meeting as well with our captains, and we're just so close. But you do have to get everything going because the games are all going to be close. So the difference could be your power play and your penalty killing have to be going. All 4 lines have to be going. If you only have half your team going or half your special teams going, that's where you get the inconsistencies and you don't win the game. So we got to be ready for tonight, and I think we are.
What concerns you about Holy Cross? Look at that. Looking at them on tape, what's the biggest concern for your team?
Well, I think they've played a real difficult schedule. They've been in every game, but I do think that it's all about us right now. We've got to get ourselves going, and I can live with losses. Sometimes that's tough to do, but it's when you're playing hard consistently for 60 minutes, and you're doing your focus and you're executing what we're trying to do. And if you lose, you lose. But right now we're not on the same page, and we got to get it together here.
Is that just early in the season, Wayne, not having that compete level where you'd like it?
Yeah, a little bit. I think we kind of get a little drifty in that our second games have always been better than our first. Sometimes our non-conference, so you play Notre Dame. We played very well there because of the name Notre Dame. I think you've got to respect all your opponents, and you got to worry about what's your standard and play to your standard, and that's what we're trying to do right now.
Well, best of luck tonight. By the way, the goatee looks pretty good, my man.
It's a little white right now, a little white.
So you're up there, but it's distinguished, we'd like to call it.
There we go, yeah. Okay, thanks.
Hey, Johnny, Coach had a big birthday earlier this month, so happy birthday. We haven't seen him yet this month.
By the way, happy 40th birthday for you, buddy.
There we go, yeah.
My man. All right, that does it with the birthday boy, Wayne Wilson. Kevin, let's send it back to you.
All right, John, we'll talk to you in just a bit. Well, after 7 seasons of guiding the Crusaders men's hockey program, David Berard stepped down as head coach in April. Just a month later, Holy Cross appointed Bill Riga to the position. Riga takes over the Crusader program after spending the last 13 years as an assistant at Quinnipiac. Now, the Crusaders out on the ice here at the Policini Center earlier this morning. Holy Cross has just 2 victories in their first 11 games. But if you look a little closer at that schedule, the Crusaders haven't exactly had an easy one. 5 of their 8 losses have come to ranked opponents, including Northeastern, Boston College, Quinnipiac, and Notre Dame. First-year head coach Bill Riga believes those experiences will eventually pay off down the road.
I think we're learning how to play against teams that have more talent right now than we do. And so if we can play at a higher level and elevate, and then we get back into some league games against teams maybe not quite as talented, we can maintain that level, I think we'll have more success. So I didn't make this schedule, but it certainly was a little bit of a gauntlet. But I think a lot of teams in our league did that too. We're going to keep scheduling games like that and try and measure ourselves against, what's considered to be the best teams and build towards being very competitive with them day in and day out. We're not there yet, but we're taking steps. The last few years, the guys haven't won a ton of games here, and you have to learn how that's done. And one of the things we were huge on at Quinnipiac was details, because we weren't always the most talented team, but we did things really well consistently, and it helped us win. And I'm not going to let it slide in the morning skate or any other time, whether it's on the ice or off the ice. So I don't want to come out here and get up in their faces early in the morning, but if that's what it takes to get them ready, then I'm going to reinforce that the whole time.
Yeah, Coach Riga was all over his team this morning, trying to pay attention to those details very closely. Also familiar with the area. His wife, a Penfield High graduate, so he's very familiar with the Rochester area. So here's how things shape up in Atlantic hockey at the moment. Mercyhurst enters the night with a 1-point lead over RIT and Bentley. They were winners today in overtime. AIC is right behind the Tigers and Falcons, followed by Canisius. Holy Cross is currently 8th right now with 6 points following their overtime victory over the Mercyhurst Lakers last Saturday. Now Air Force and Army, they're both tied in the basement, 5 points apiece. Everybody in action here tonight. We'll talk about that more on the AHA scoreboard in just a bit. In the net for RIT this evening will be number 40, Colby Matthews, the junior from British Columbia, is 5-3-2 on the year with a .906 save percentage. Now, Matthews gave up 12 goals in his first 6 games. However, in his last 4, he's allowed 16. 3 of those last 4 games, as you know, resulted in RIT losses. We'll see what happens here tonight. For Holy Cross, head coach Bill Riga will go with number 30, Matt Radomski. The junior from Winnipeg will make his 7th start of the season. He's 1-4-1 with a .869 save percentage in those outings. And we have seen Radomski here before. Well, still to come here tonight on Pregame Live, the RIT women's hockey team welcome Mercyhurst to town this afternoon. We'll have the highlights coming up. Plus, they don't call him Silky Wilkie for nothing. Our conversation with RIT newcomer Carter Wilkie. Oh, it's coming your way. But first, he finally snapped his 9-game goalless streak last weekend against Canisius. Number 14 for RIT is 50-year senior Jake Hamaker, his grandfather, in the house here tonight, traveling from Minnesota. The grandson will join Kim Coffey live next as our coverage of Tiger hockey rolls on. From the Gene Policini Center, it's RIT and Holy Cross at 7:05. This is RIT SportsZone, Pregame Live. Oh, it's looking like fall here in western New York. A few flurries in the sky this afternoon. Not really thrilled about that, but we are back here at the Gene Policini Center where it's American Sign Language Appreciation Night, and the Tigers and Crusaders will face off at 7:05. Meanwhile, if you haven't heard, they're on their phones. You should be too while watching us, of course. You can stay connected to all your favorite Tiger teams by utilizing the RIT Athletics app. Find scores, schedules, highlights, features, and more by downloading the app for your Apple or Android device. Plus, don't miss any of our Division III live streams available on Roku, Apple TV, and Fire TV as well. Stay connected to your Tigers all season long by downloading the RIT Athletics app today. All 10 Atlantic hockey teams are in action against one another for this first time this season. Earlier this afternoon, Bentley earned a series split with AIC after beating the Yellow Jackets 2-1 in overtime. Army visits Niagara at the top of the hour. Canisius is at Mercyhurst for their 99th meeting all time, and Sacred Heart is out in Colorado Springs. They'll face off a little later on at 9:05 our time. Well, warm-ups have wrapped up, and just off the ice is RIT forward Jake Hammaker, who's standing by live now with our Kim Coffey. Kim?
Thanks, Kevin. Jake, first of all, solid stash you have going right now. Is that a November thing? Is that a team thing? What's going on?
Yeah, team does it for November just to support, men's health awareness. But I've been growing mine for a couple months.
It's a good one. It's a good one. But you guys are coming off a tough weekend, two losses to Canisius. This is your only pair of home games this month. So how important is it to get back on track and back in the win column tonight?
Yeah, especially with this being our only pair of home games, we have to protect our home ice and make sure that we get 6 points this weekend, because when we have our fans behind us, that's when we play our best. So we got to play our best this weekend for sure.
It was a slow start to the season in terms of the power play, but you guys really picked it up, scoring at least one power play goal in your last 4 games. What's been clicking with that as of recently?
Yeah, our power play is a big part of our team, and especially in this league, if you can get a power play goal a game, it's going to help you in the long run. And at the start of the season, we weren't clicking very good. But lately, we've been trying to keep it simple, get pucks to the net, get rebounds, and it's been working, and hopefully we can keep it going this weekend.
What are you expecting to see from Holy Cross tonight?
Every team in this league is a tough opponent. We expect them to come out hard and physical, and we just got to match that first 5 minutes and play our game.
Jake, thanks so much. Good luck tonight.
Thank you.
Kevin, back to you.
All right, Kim, thank you so much. We'll check back with you soon. Well, he's not only been one of the top contributors on the Tiger roster this season, but he's also been one of the new shining stars in Atlantic hockey, too. It's early, but with the way he's played, freshman forward Carter Wilkie is well on his way to locking up Rookie of the Year honors.
He was dubbed Silky Wilkie during his Bantam hockey days, and it hasn't taken long for RIT fans to see why.
Wilkie, what a move! Shoots and scores! Carter Wilkie! That's unbelievable!
I wouldn't consider myself the silkiest guy ever, but I have moments, obviously, and it's kind of funny when you hear it every once in a while. My buddies give me a little bit of heck back home when they hear it, but it's funny. I like it. I'm not going to... If it's stuck, it's stuck, and it's a good nickname to have. I could have a lot worse, probably, but it's a good one.
Wilkie has been a really good one for RIT this season, proving he can deliver in the clutch on the biggest of stages.
Canada has some room. Right out in front, the game winner, Carter Wilkie. RIT wins it in overtime on the road.
It's kind of the coolest feeling, like doing that, especially national television. I don't remember the last time I had an OT winner kind of like to that stature in my career, and I just was Paul saying it after that. I couldn't dial it in for a while. My hands were shaking still for like an hour or two after that game.
He's scored not 1, but 2 game-winning goals this season, and seems to always be in the right place at the right time.
Shoots, scores, Tigers win in overtime.
My dad here, he told me, you go to the net, you can find the puck off the time, so I like AIC. I just stood in front of the net. I didn't even really see the puck. Willie shot it, hit my stick, and went in. Notre Dame, I just got a great pass from Busey, and Nol's made a great play on the other side. It's just kind of those things where it's just you kind of get yourself prepared for opportunities like that.
Well, the right places, being in some of the hard areas around the front of the net, and he's not afraid to go there. So, yeah, I think it is a knack and timing. It's a little just a hockey sense, intuition. But there's a lot of things that go there. But he's a gamer. I'd say that's how I would describe him, is that I don't think there's any moment that's too big for him. He's ready to tackle more ice and those moments, and So he's off to a real good start, and I think it'll be hard to sustain the level he's playing at, but he's going to be a very good player for us for 4 years.
His play has gained plenty of attention and recognition. It's something that has even caught him by surprise.
I came down with like aspirations to do this stuff, but like nobody knew what was going to happen when you got down here. It's college. We have an old team. We have a deep team, so it's kind of weird to see stuff like that, or you don't fully expect it. I was honestly came down just trying to stay in the lineup and getting first opportunities, and luckily was able to get in those opportunities, and line mates obviously scored, helped me get a couple of goals as well, so it's kind of good that way, and I didn't expect to get the confidence or the goals that I was and the chances I was, but I'm not going to argue it. Like they're there for me, and luckily I put them in the net, and that's what I'm kind of trying to keep doing.
Yeah, Wilkie has been special so far this season for the Tigers. He was voted Atlantic Hockey Rookie of the Month for October, while also being named League Rookie of the Week 4 times so far this season. He enters the night tied for 3rd among the nation's freshmen with 5 goals and is tied for 14th among first years with 8 points. Wilkie has been key for RIT in faceoffs, currently tied for 27th nationally among freshmen, 3rd overall in Atlantic hockey with 112 faceoff wins. Wilkie really off to a great freshman season. How about some women's hockey from this afternoon? Mercyhurst up here visiting RIT in College Hockey America action. We were scoreless into the 3rd when Alexa Vasco connects with Chantel Chapois. Lakers took a 1-0 lead, but RIT would answer right back just over 2 minutes later. Kylie Aquaro to Abby Davies, who scores. Davies 4th on the year. Tied us at 1 with 12:32 to go, but Mercyhurst would respond just about 4 minutes later. The rebound, Chantel Chapois with her 2nd of the day. She'd add the empty netter to complete the hat trick, and despite 38 saves from Sarah Coe, Tigers lose 3-1. Same teams here tomorrow afternoon. 1 o'clock. Get your tickets, RITtickets.com. Well, still to come here tonight, we flash back to 2019 and a hat trick that helped propel the Tigers over the Crusaders. Plus, John and Jean will join us to tell us who we should be keeping an eye on here tonight. It's all straight ahead on your home for Tiger hockey. This is RIT Sports Zone, pregame live.
Crusaders holding it in. Now finally they can get to work here as Higgins leaving to the far side. Higgins trying to drop that low. He's on the wet back side. Wow. Jean buries it.
And that rolling? They're calling it a goal.
Yep, Connor Jean with his 3rd of the year. And now Holy Cross enjoying a 2-goal lead as Walker brings it into the zone. Walker send it ahead all alone. Shot. Oh, didn't get down. Bruce and a goal. Will Calverley has cut the Holy Cross lead to 3-2. Rinaldi, Nicholson, Rinaldi on the near side. Rinaldi fires and scores! Somehow they got through. Andrew Rinaldi, the freshman, has tied this at 3. Rinaldi setting it down low. Moretz got tied up.
There it is.
And it is in. The Tigers take the lead. Rinaldi is 2nd this period. Feeds it. Tigers had to hold up there. Nick Bruce comes up with it. Drop. Yes. Goal. Calverley is 2nd of the night. The Tigers take a 5-3 lead. Corner crew to count it down. Drop feed. Here's Rinaldi scores.
Oh, round is on.
And throw your hat on the ice. It's the hat trick for Andrew Rinaldi.
Yeah, Andrew Rinaldi with his first collegiate hat trick 2 years ago as a freshman in a 7-4 victory over Holy Cross. RIT leads the overall Division I series with the Crusaders. The longest win streak in this series goes to RIT as well, with 10 straight victories between 2006 and Valentine's Day of 2009. The Crusaders have 2 Atlantic Hockey Tournament championships, with the last one coming back in 2006. As we welcome you back inside the cozy confines of the Gene Policini Center here at RIT, where you're watching RIT RIT Sports Zone pregame live, presented by Taylor the Builders. Tigers and Crusaders renewing their rivalry. The main event here tonight coming up at 7:05. The guys that will have the call for you, John and Gene, are joining us now, and it's been a few weeks since we last saw the Tigers in person, but the big question here tonight, guys, which RIT team are we going to see here on the ice?
Yeah, thanks, Kevin, and it is great to be back. I thought Wayne Wilson was very interesting when you talked to him earlier. Basically, hey, you get up for Notre Dame, you got to get up for everybody in this league.
Especially conference games. He wants that compete level up here at all times. He hasn't seen it. Hopefully tonight they start off on the right foot. There are 6 points ready to be had for RIT, but it starts tonight.
Yeah, forget what happened in the last 2 weekends. You've got an opportunity that's ahead of you tonight. It's funny, you watch back at those highlights, and I'm like, okay, there's Nick Hale in on the first goal. It's not his first trip here to the Policini. Coming off a good week, our player to watch for the Holy Cross.
Atlantic Hockey defensive player of the week had a huge weekend against Merciers, 3 points. Hale we just saw 2 years ago, very good playmaker, great skater. He's logged a lot of ice time, one of those veteran defensemen here for the Crusaders.
Yeah, as there you see his numbers for RIT. Now, there are players that are stepping up. Will Calverley certainly on the center position. Wilkie is doing great as a freshman. That line on the wing with Jake Hammaker still waiting to get going, John. What do you think has to happen to get Jake going more?
Wayne has sat Jake. He has sat Nick Bruce. He has sat Elijah Gonzalez. He's trying to get these guys going. Jake Hammaker, at least he got a goal and 2 assists last weekend. So this is big. This is big for Jake. Here's a guy who has 35 career goals. He's a playmaker. They're leaning on number 14 to start generating some offense, and hopefully it starts tonight, that he can get going, and maybe they can filter down to Nick Bruce and, of course, to Elijah Gonzalez.
Yeah, that line of Moritz, Gonzalez, and Hammaker certainly good tonight. 6-point weekend. That's the way the Tigers have to think about this, John. It is November here, but considering what happened the last 2 weekends, let's see what RIT and how they respond here on a Friday night, which has been the tougher of the 2 nights.
There's no question, and Wayne has said that. Our compete level's been fine on Friday. It's been the Saturday night. It's been a big concern. Keep the puck in front of you. He's really looking for the compete level. What kind of energy, and play smart. Can't take unnecessary penalties. Their penalty kill was not great last weekend. It must be better tonight against the #1 power play in Atlantic Hockey.
Kevin, really looking forward to calling this one coming up as we send it back to you.
All right, guys, we look forward to it. Hey, when we return here on Pregame Live, we'll go inside the Tiger locker room as Associate Head Coach Dave Insulaco talks strategy. That's next. This is RIT Sports Zone Pregame Live.
D-zone, they'll go weak side rim. Okay, so again, let's get our weak side D playing a little wider. Stay in this guy's back pocket. If it's a slow rim and you can jump around it, go get the puck. But that's a read on your part. Don't back out, though. Stay right over here in that guy's hip pocket. Don't give him time and space. Our center should be locking. That's too much time and space right there. We're not going to do that tonight. Okay, they will also strong side rim it, too. It's something to be aware of. We can't fall asleep if you're this defenseman. So again, Notre Dame applies good pressure. He just turns and throws it up the strong side. Again, keep guys in front of us with a tight gap. Okay, that's all I have today, guys. But we know what we're good at. Okay, we know our identity, but we got to compete hard. We got to pay attention to detail, and we got to execute.
Let's be ready to go here.
Yeah, we'll see if the pointers pay off and the Tigers get back on track here tonight. That'll do it for Pregame Live. We'll be back here for the intermission report. But until then, enjoy the game, everyone. RIT Sports Zone Live begins now.